Welcome to this exclusive Boardroom Talk interactions with eminent board leaders from Indian corporate governance domain. And today we have Mr. Kumar Sharadindu to share his journey with us. And I'm going to call him Mr. Kumar. So thank you, Mr. Kumar, for being here with us to share your amazing journey. And also, before we start introducing our speaker for the day and also take this discussion forward, I must share last week Mentor My Board has been the first startup which has been recognized by Fiki Flow, which is Fiki Ladies Organization at a national level, and out of 1400 startups we stood first. So I think that was such a proud moment for all of us. And also a
Congratulations.
heartiest congratulations to entire team of Mentor My Board. So thank you, Mr. Kumar, for your congratulations. And today we are on our 61st Boardroom Talk and 16th in this season with Mr. Kumar. Now, let me, briefly introduce Mr. Kumar to us. He has been currently serving as independent director on Aditya Birla Sun Life Pension Management Limited, Kogta Finance Limited, IIFL Asset Management Limited. Now, his journey of illustrious career, where I think some of his key milestones are he has managed pension AUM of more than 20 billion, that is close to 1,37,000 crore, and he had been instrumental in the introduction of the policy by the Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority for the transfer of self-managed superannuation fund of central public sector undertaking, that is how we call it as CPSEs, to national pension scheme. That's something we all have heard about NPS so many times. He was also part of the government delegation to UK to study UK pension industry as the part of India UK technical assistance program. Now, I think managing the large team with more than 350 professionals across region, overseeing the gross advances of 12,000 crore. Now he also has been has served in past as member of committees constituted by RBI and various banks. Now last stint as chief general manager at SBI, deputed as an MD and CEO of SBI Pension Fund Private Limited. Now, when we see his illustrious career with SBI for more than 35 years, he has his to his accolades, his degrees of MSc Physics from Delhi University, and also his certified associate Indian Institute bankers trainer program on derivatives at IIM Bangalore. He has done his advanced program on private equity investments by Euromoney at London, and also trends and developments in electronic payments and settlement systems at RBI Training College, Pune. Now, such a illustrious journey. Thank you, Mr. Kumar, for being here with us. And it's indeed pleasure to have you. Through this boardroom talk, we basically, kind of bring the unheard stories of boardrooms, the leaders who have been instrumental in kind of shaping a corporate governance domain in India, how we call it, and their journeys become inspiration for a lot of people who are aspiring to be directors or even who are directors and running their own businesses, and how do they really grow, how do they really look at the scale, but with good governance. I think that's the basic theme of bringing these boardroom talk stories to the audience, to the participants. We are live on our LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook pages, and even Twitter pages. So please share, like, subscribe to our pages for getting these regular updates. And I think before we start, I'm also, welcoming all the viewers who have been joining and who will keep joining, and also who will be watching this entire talk, later on during the months and weeks to come. Now, good morning, Mr. Kumar, for being here with us. Thank you so much for accepting our request and be here with us. So let's start the conversations. Can you hear me? We lost your voice, Mr. Kumar. Can you
Yeah,
hear?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
I can hear
Please,
you.
yeah. So thank you and welcome for being here. Let me just see some technical glitch.
Yeah,
Give
I'm
me a
on the
moment.
full screen. I'm on full
Yeah,
screen, not
just
sharing
just
it
give
with
me a
you.
moment. Yeah. Technical glitch. Yeah, perfect. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Kumar. It's indeed pleasure to have you here. Now, my first question to you is: can you share, the defining
Well,
moments in your career?
good morning to you and all the viewers and listeners, Divya. And
Thank you,
thank you for having me on this boardroom talk. You can proceed
thank
with
you,
your
thank you,
questions now.
thank you so much, thank you so much. Now, Mr. Kumar, can you share some defining moments in your career journey that signifies the and which has shaped your approach towards governance and board leadership? So, something like your first board experience. So, what was that defining moment for you? So, over to you.
Okay. Uh, I think let's to put things in perspective. Let me start with why this so much talk about corporate governance.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be the
absolutely,
right perspective
absolutely, absolutely.
for this chat to proceed further?
Yeah.
Now, post financial crisis in 2008-9, it was pretty obvious that the banks in US and Europe, uh, despite understanding the risks involved in the transactions they were doing, the securitization transactions, despite being aware of the pitfalls, they went ahead. As one of the CEOs once had said, it's very difficult to stop dancing when the music is on. Well, that was a big lapse of corporate governance on part of all of those banks, including their heads. The reason they understood what was happening and they continued doing it. It was not their own money which they were putting at stake, which they were putting at risk, but it was shareholders' money, the investors' money which they had put for. They had no business to do that. A blatant lack of corporate governance.
True.
Post that issue, a lot of talks have been going on across the globe on this front. So basically, what it boils down to, how you should govern yourself as an individual in the board to ensure that corporate governance is ensured. Now, corporate governance uh, includes many things in its fold. For example, anyone sitting on the board, whether it's the executive directors representing the management, whether it's the nominee directors representing investors, or the lenders, or the independent directors. Each one has a responsibility towards all the stakeholders in the company, not just uh, doing better on the shareholder return front, increasing profits, but it has to be taken care of that the employees, the customers, of course, they should come first, and employees, etc., and the health of the company, everything gets taken care of. Now, as far as my learning, I suppose ethics is something which you don't learn too late. Ethics is something, it's either part of you or it's not part of you. So you cannot imbibe it too late in the day. As I was very fortunate in the sense that the organization I worked all through my career, State Bank of India, I had great leaders to work under. They always emphasize the customer first part. They always emphasize there is absolutely no need to cheat. There is absolutely no need to charge something which is not laid down in the bank. And this happened with so many assignments and quite a few leaders.
Hmm.
So that's something which I learned to practice ethical ways of doing business right from the beginning. And that I carried that to my board. On top of that, even as a officer in State Bank, we would be making presentations to the committees of the State Bank board, to the board per se, and the kind of things which they would ask, the kind of things they will ask us to look for. They were great learnings to how to bring about corporate governance culture.
Super.
Adding to the fact that I was MD and CEO of a company where there were other directors, now I had the dual responsibility, perform the role of a director in the board as well as running the company as the CEO.
Right.
So it was a good lesson to learn how to balance the two things, how
Amazing.
not to take risk, how much to take risk, the way forward, etc., etc., etc. The guidance
Super.
of the other board members were good learning. So that's where it
Yeah,
was
great,
for me.
great. I think this takes me to another question when you said, you ran the business as the CEO as well. So what was your experience while managing such large teams? Can you share, the role of board in overseeing the people management perspective of it? If you can share some light on that, and how did you manage such large teams effectively?
See, the people management prospect is always the most important part in running any organization,
Correct.
because it's not the CEO who does everything. It's the people at different levels, different work engagements who deliver the results, because of which finally you see what
Yeah.
what you see at the end. Uh, so you have to keep encouraging your people. I know it's a cliche, motivating your people. There are small things by which you can motivate. For example, doesn't matter how simple a thing was, but if it's been done well, there's no harm praising openly. And the
True.
praises must be done openly in front of everyone. Everyone likes it. There is no exception, mind you. It's a human weakness and everyone likes it. So when you have to praise, praise it openly. Even when people commit a mistake, you should not go hammer and tong. That's not the
Hmm,
way.
hmm, hmm.
First, you tell them. In fact, my favorite quote always was, whenever someone committed a mistake, to err is human, but to repeat the mistake is a crime. That is how it's not a standard quote or anything. It was
Right.
created by Kumar Sharadindu and used extensively by him in his work life.
Right.
So those things make a lot of difference. If you have the capability of, when you're walking across people, if you can cut a joke to liven the evening, I used to do that.
Right.
Maybe pull the youngsters about their girlfriends or boyfriend, whatever. If the point I'm trying to make it, if you can help liven the atmosphere, if you help create camaraderie amongst the people, that they
Very
have to
interesting.
work together and not against each other. They
Super.
have different functions, but all of them have one goal, that the company should do well.
Do well.
Bonding exercises, etc. It's done all over, but I suppose it's more than that. If the leader gets involved in creating the team spirit, it comes. It
Amazing.
definitely comes through.
Amazing. Such a wonderful insight, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you for that quote. I think, that's very, very unique. So now coming to the another question is, I mean, definitely you mentioned, that ethics comes, first. Either it is there or it is not there. But, let me ask you, how did you kind of, use those principles in decision making process, in the boardroom, and especially while facing some complex financial or strategic challenges or decisions. And I'm sure, a lot of times boardroom battles or boardroom dynamics, kind of makes you think on whether you should follow ethics, you should not follow ethics. And I'm sure, I think, this is something, which is the core of the boardroom. When the businesses are growing, they only grow when there is a high level of ethical standards in the entire system. So what are your thoughts, and any anecdotes if you can share?
Surely. And the last point which you made, yes, sustainably delivering good results can always be done if the ethical standards are practiced. Otherwise, it can't go a long way.
Right.
That's for sure. Now, for simple things. If you believe in something, stand by it in the board. For example, one of the employees, he was new, he did extremely well, and I genuinely felt that if he leaves at this point, I'll not only have to look for another person to hire, which will take time, the new guy will learn the job, which will take further
Time.
time. So I was better off offering a jump in his salary, which will force him to stick around. It
Nice.
was within my powers, it was only 15% raise. I wanted to give him 30%. So I had to go to the board.
Right.
Now, there, the chairman of the board started saying, "What is this? How can you propose a 30% increase?" I said, "Sir," I explained to him what I said just now. I don't want to lose him.
Yeah.
Hiring takes time, training the people takes time. Moreover, I'm extremely happy with the way he is functioning. And let's not go just by the 30%. Look at where his base salary is currently. So despite the 30% increase, the amount isn't much. Now, ethical, let me talk about some other board. There is always an issue of intergroup investments, intergroup activities, directors themselves borrowing, lending. Now, in one case, I found that there was an arrangement approved by the board, the maximum amount which a board intergroup activities can take place, whether by way of lending or borrowing. And they should adhere to the limits, no doubt about that, individual as well as the consolidated limits. They were following that. But suddenly the interest rates had gone up, and availability of high interest rate returns on your deposits was available. So what somebody did was, the promoters themselves gave in money and started earning returns. The first time we saw it, we put our foot down. We don't want to see it again. You just can't do it. That's it.
Right.
They accepted it. Yes, the board is firm, and it
Super.
sailed through, and never anything like that never happened there.
Amazing. Amazing.
So few things will keep happening. The course correction needs to be done in a proper manner.
Right. I think you rightly said, sir, that, how the directors look at the transactions, how the directors are vigilant. And even, I mean, a lot of times intentions are not bad, but if, it is not done in a right manner, then, over the repercussions of it can be huge. So very well rightly.
Sometimes people don't even understand that what
Right.
this is being done in wrong. It was
Exactly.
explained why that is wrong,
Right. Right.
and it was acceptable. Moreover, for understanding the ethical part and as a good corporate governance as well, you must hear out everyone in the board. Whether you are the chairman of the board or not, you can still ensure that if somebody is speaking which is not really what is being proposed in a particular memorandum, still you must give chance to speak. Must ensure that whoever wants to say whatever the person feels about it gets through, people listen. You need not be chairman of the board to ensure it. Basically, it's the chairman's responsibility,
Right.
but you need not wait for anyone to do it. You go ahead and undertake such things.
Amazing. Amazing.
Plus, you should always keep an open mind when you're listening to people. Always keep an open mind. You might have a set thought process. Hear out and see if you'd like to change your views on the subject. It happens quite often when you hear out patiently to other people the arguments, the way it has been articulated. You're likely to change your thought process. It is possible, very much possible.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. So you must do that. Suppose a new a product is being launched or a new line of business is being done. Now, in our boards, we ensure that a lot of discussions take place. Primarily, of course, the business part, whether it makes sense or not. After having done that, is there a chance of mis-selling the product? If yes, what are the precautions which has been taken care of so that such mis-selling doesn't take place?
Doesn't take place.
Is the incentive lopsided, which will make people, move towards unethical things. As long as those things are balanced out, there's no risk of mis-selling. So these are small things, but must be deliberated at great length in the board before the product or the new line of business gets approved.
Super.
It's not just the numbers. No, that yes, the numbers will make sense, you will make money. It has to be beyond that.
True. In fact, you actually covered my next question also here, which was more on the board dynamics and how you have worked in the collaborative and synergetic environment in the boardrooms. So you very well covered that point. And now my next question to you is, as a
If you
leader in
don't
the...
mind, I would like to add one more
Please,
point
go
over
ahead.
there.
Yeah, please go ahead.
What happens is, I lost my thread. Forget it. You continue.
Okay, no worries. So as a leader in the pension fund management sector, when you led it, now what do you see as the most pressing governance challenge, which is usually faced by the financial institutions today? So if you can highlight something, and how do you kind of propose to address them? With your experience and the way entire financial institution industry is moving forward. So any challenges what you see at the leadership level, or at the governance level, or at the industry level overall, and how do you think that boardrooms have to address those challenges, if anything comes to your mind on that?
Let me tell you one thing about the pension management I was in. That is SBI Pension Fund Private Limited.
Right.
Under NPS, the chances of all these things are remote. Let me explain why. The way the scheme has been designed is a distributive model.
Okay.
Now, pension funds don't even know who their subscribers are.
Okay.
You will find it unbelievable, but that's what it is, and it is kept by design. You don't know. Yeah, you don't know, because the process is such: somebody gets a customer, the enrollment happens, then it goes to a third party. Then that third party verifies things, sees everything is okay, and then it simply transfers the money to the pension fund, which has been chosen by the subscriber.
Okay.
So in this distributive model, the only thing that remains is whether you invest with a open, conscious mind or not, and try and get the best of returns which you can. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's what it is. That's what it is. But in other cases, first of all, you must listen out to the executive directors in the company, because they are the ones who are doing business on a day-to-day activity.
Yeah.
So you have to listen to them properly, and then ask questions if you need clarification. But what you need to emphasize, particularly as independent directors, all the other directors sitting on the board have some vested interest or the other. Whether they let those vested interests come to play or not is a different matter.
True.
But if there are investee directors, their prime concern is that the returns on their investment should keep rising so that they can make profit while exiting. The executive directors have a simple role to display themselves to be doing better, so that they get rewarded better by way of remuneration or by way of ESOPs or whatever.
Yeah.
It's only the independent directors who have no such issues or no vested interest per se, which can come into play. So they have to play a greater role as far as the corporate governance is. I noticed that in the boards also. The corporate governance aspects only get asked by the independent directors.
True.
And that happens to be their primary focus, because there are n number of guys who are taking care of the business part.
Absolutely.
It's not that they don't take interest in the business part and don't give their inputs, but there are a lot of people doing that. The investee directors are also interested in that, and they are also taking care of that. But this part, my experience has been, the onus lies on the independent directors to guide the corporate governance aspect,
Correct.
to see that things are done in a proper manner. So customer first approach has to be ingrained. If it gets ingrained in the executive directors, it will flow downwards.
True.
There would not be an issue on that count.
Right.
So that has to be there,
Understood.
and you have to believe in people unless they prove themselves to be dishonest. I've followed that principle in my life. Yes, you will come across some, but that's okay. That's okay. That
Yeah.
means you get the benefit of the rest of the people instead of the minor some people who turned out to be dishonest. Of course,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you don't have proper checks and balance. Any financial industry in particular has lots of checks and balances.
Right.
Two-factor authentication, and then the cross-check sets in the system, the software itself, which checks.
Yeah.
So those things are generally there. Another thing which I feel will generally improve corporate governance is, now a lot of people might get upset with this suggestion of mine, but I've held this view for much more than a decade.
Okay.
We should dispense with quarterly results business.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you the reason. I'll give you
Yeah.
the reason.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
off the cuff remark which I'm making. As I said, I hold it for more than a decade.
Hmm.
What happens is a quarter comes to an end.
Hmm.
It takes some time for the preparation of results.
Correct.
And then the CFO, the CEO, the MD addresses the press, and what happened, what went wrong, what was good, what was bad, blah, blah, blah. You lose out a month.
Hmm.
Then you're left with 2 months
Only
to
2 months.
whatever you have to do. So it's not fair. What happens in the process is you're putting too much pressure on the management to deliver the next quarter.
I
So
agree.
I genuinely feel instead of quarterly, if it is made half yearly, it will be a good idea.
Right, right, right. Actually, if you see SME platform today, the SME, the companies which are getting listed on the SME, they are supposed to have the half yearly results declared. It's only the bigger listed companies on the main board. They are there for quarterly results. They have to publish. But thank you so much for these insights. And now we are very close to our end of our interactions. But I have some amazing questions which we want to listen from you. The answers is, what's your motivation, or any person who motivates you in your life or in your journey, who has motivated, and one specific book or article, or on thought leadership, which has influenced you, or which you would like to recommend to our viewers on the leadership.
Okay. Uh, the answer may not be conventional. Pardon me for that. It's about my experiences, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
have the freedom to state what
100%.
clicked
100%.
for
Please
me.
go ahead.
And yeah, thank you for that. See, I always believed in doing well,
Hmm.
excelling in whatever I do. That urge is too great even now. Even now, that urge is too great as a
Hmm.
board member.
Right.
That I must do my job as well as anyone else can.
Correct.
That is my biggest motivational factor. That somebody should not say that I am not able to do. What I genuinely feel, keep a clear conscience in whatever you do.
Hmm.
As long as you keep your conscience clear, you will get guided to do the right thing. So primary thing is to have your conscience clear, absolutely clear conscience. Be open to listening to ideas, uh, so that nothing gets passed, and you are able to take the best of whatever comes.
True.
Now, as far as the leadership style and the books you talk about, there are plethora of books in the market, each one talking about different styles of leadership, each one giving the example of successful people whom people know. Now, I genuinely think and truly believe that a person succeeding in a particular company at a particular time may not be true to be followed for others, because doing right things at the right time, everyone talks about, but who the hell knows what is the right time? No one. It's only as a post-mortem of the things that you get to know this was the right time when this particular initiative was taken. So it's not necessary that it will happen that way. So that's one thing which should be kept in mind. Second, everyone has a different nature. A particular style of leadership may not suit that nature. So you have to adopt a style which gels well with your attitudes and nature. If it doesn't, you'll appear a phony. You'll appear a phony.
Right.
And
Absolutely. Thank you.
yeah, and if you appear a phony, it will never bring in results.
Super. Thank you so much. Now, also, I mean, you have given lot of advice, to the next generation of leaders who are aspiring to excel in the boardroom roles. Now, when I talk of the boardroom roles, I really don't mean only independent directors, executive, and you are very well covered in your entire interaction what role executive directors can play, the independent directors, what happens or what goes in the minds of executive directors also. Now, you know, coming back to my last question, because we are already at 11:31. Uh, given your experience and expertise in the board leadership roles, what are your thoughts on platforms like Mentor My Board, which aims to provide the resources and mentorship to promoters, founders, and directors, including independent and women directors, so to enhance their understanding and practices on governance? So, some of your thoughts or some suggestions to us to work on.
It's an excellent initiative, and no doubt about it. The ease with which people can watch it, thanks to the digital world which we live in, and thanks to country called India, where the digital initiatives have been given lots of prominence and lots of things have been done, much more than most of the advanced countries as well.
True.
So that's an excellent thing, which we have, that platform which is there. What it does is, with all these talks, somebody might pick up a bit of a nuance here, a bit of a nuance there, and in the end will become capable of firming up how to conduct themselves when they are on the board. So it's an excellent initiative. See, experiences count a lot. For example, I love listening to Mr. Damodaran. He's been on so many boards. He continues to be board or advisor to people. I love the way he expresses processes. It's just superb. And I'll request everyone listening to this podcast that whenever you get a chance to listen to Mr. Damodaran, either online or live, please do. Please do. Anyone and everyone, even a most experienced director on the board will benefit if they listen to Mr. Damodaran. And somebody who can maintain a high conscience and still be popular is a great example.
Absolutely, I agree. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar, for your insights and sparing your valuable time with us on this Sunday morning. And also, with this, we come to a conclusion of this boardroom talk. Next week, we will come back with yet another, personality from the Indian boardrooms. So till that time, stay tuned and have a great Sunday with your family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Divya, for having me once again on
Thank
this
you. Thank
show.
you, sir.